The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild announced an expansion pass for $20. Starting, I believe you can like pay for it now if you pre-order it. But if that, so that I want to talk about, because people are like kind of outraged about this. I want to talk about why Zelda is getting that kind of scrutiny when we've kind of come to grips with the fact that every other franchise can do this. So just to run through quick what it'll include, it'll be a $20 expansion pass for the year. There will be an update in like right at launch on March 3rd when the Switch and Breath of the Wild release, one in the summer and then one during the holiday. You have here the expansion pass that releases at launch will be 3 new treasure chests containing useful items found in the Great Plateau area of the open world. The exclusive in-game clothing this is the part I have a problem with. It's a t-shirt that Link can wear that just promotes the Nintendo Switch. We can get back to that because that's the only problem I have with this. DLC Pack 1 adds new Cave of Trials challenge. If you played Twilight Princess, that probably sounds familiar to you. It's kind of a boss enemy run, or at least it was in Twilight Princess. I'm not sure how it's going to manifest in Breath of the Wild. There's a new hard mode, so there's an entire kind of mode being withheld, kind of like Resident Evil 7's DLC. Additional map feature, I don't know if that's an area or who knows. And then we have the holiday, new original story, a new dungeon, and additional challenges. So, someone on Twitter actually asked the question that I wanted to roll with. It was Rayquaza Kingdom said, "Why is DLC okay with any non-Nintendo game, but Zelda gets it and it's a travesty?" So that's a good question because Zelda's one of those franchises we kind of hold up as being like there's a sanctity to it that you can't touch, and until like Hyrule Warriors came around and they started branching it off into different kind of formats. But I don't necessarily have a complete problem with this. Nintendo's always kind of been in its own bubble, and I think they're opening up to other modern game trends, but it just disappoints me that this is the first one we hear about instead of like knowing exactly how online capabilities are going to work when the Nintendo Switch launch. But I also don't like the fact that Link can have a Nintendo Switch shirt on. I don't think that's a cool... I mean, it's gimmicky, and it's like if you play the Wii U version of Breath of the Wild, which we all did at E3, he's got that tablet, which is clearly like the gamepad from the Wii U. It's just Nintendo's doesn't always know how to break the fourth wall, and that worries me that they're so behind on these DLC expansion pass trends that they're going to fuck it up. It's such a small thing, this shirt that Link can wear, but it makes me think that they don't exactly know what they're doing. The rest of the stuff I'm fine with, because if I love Breath of the Wild, which it looks like I will, I have no idea. I haven't played more than 2 hours of it, but I've been watching streams and everything. I have no problem with paying more money for more of the game if I really like it. But this leads me to believe that they don't necessarily have it in their grasp what they want to do with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think I really like your point about is this really the first trend, like the first modern trend they're going to approach? Because Nintendo is notoriously slow on the uptake with those kinds of things. And I mean, that's probably too harsh. I think Nintendo kind of just goes its own way. I don't really see a problem with DLC. It doesn't bother me at all. I don't know why that's something to get actually angry about. There's other things I'd get a lot angrier about. I think the shirt is the weirdest thing for sure, just because it's almost like they were like, oh, people really like the shirts in Splatoon that you can get. Remember when you had Pizza Hut or Transformers or whatever it was? That was cool. And it's like, no, totally different thing. Extremely different.
Right. Especially when Zelda always has been a very immersive game. Last thing I want to be reminded of is like what I'm holding.
No, because long ago, before the Hylian Wars, the Gorons passed down this Nintendo Switch shirt, which came and banished the King Ganon. Of course, it's fucking canon.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to wear that. No one's going to wear that. I don't know who would. But the one that actually like hit me was that hard mode, right? Like, at what point is that something that, was, who knows what hard mode exactly is? Is it maybe more of like a survival mode type thing, which, would make, I guess, more sense. But that just, at its broader, like, core, it sounds like something that should be in the game already.
Well, here's the thing, because that as well as the new dungeon are not unprecedented. Because in Link's Awakening, when it came out on the Game Boy Color, they added a dungeon to entice people. Like, this is a different game. It's on Game Boy Color. It's not just on Game Boy. You can buy it, go through this dungeon. There's a few other additional features. Also, yes, Link Between Worlds had the hero mode, but like you said, that launched with the game. You could play it, and it was harder.
Yeah, or like hero mode in like Ocarina of Time in 3D.
In the Master Quest, right. Yeah. That was released on the GameCube version, whereas Link Between Worlds had it at launch. So this isn't just a Nintendo question. This is a question of how often do developers release games when they're purposely withholding things, which a game this massive and from the development cycle it seems like it's been through, I imagine these things are already ready to go. They're just holding it. And we're going to see like, Super Mario Odyssey DLC expansion pass. I think the problem I have with it, again, is that, or at least the worry I have, I don't have like immediate massive problem with it. I do agree with Rayquaza Kingdom on Twitter that we kind of do tend to give Nintendo shit for things. It's always Nintendo's like that sacred developer, that sacred of the big three companies that we kind of seem to hold to a higher standard, even though maybe not a higher standard. We kind of think they're in their own bubble, so it seems like they're opening up to DLC expansion passes with the Switch. But like hopefully they focus on the right trends in the future and not just expansion passes.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people were hoping to see a version of trophies, and we still have no idea what like how the online capabilities will work with the Switch. We don't know a lot about the console, but we know Breath of the Wild will have an expansion pass for $20.
Or like if Splatoon 2 will have voice chat, which would be cool. Thanks, Nintendo.
Or like, I mean, there's so many people have pre-ordered this game, right? And what was like the top pre-order was like $120, right?
I think so, yeah.
How frustrated would you be if like they are...
Oh, if you got like the Master Edition.
You got that, and then they are tacking on more stuff. Like, I mean, I guess ultimately, I mean, that's what I will plan to do is like just not get it and play the game first, and that's what most people should do.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to get it.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. It's just,
Leroy Jenkins on YouTube. Leroy Jenkins on YouTube chat made a good point. Mario Kart 8 did have a season pass from, I believe, on the Wii U, which it was kind of an anomaly. I think maybe because it's Zelda, that
people are mad.
Yeah, maybe that people are, please don't touch Zelda, but I don't know. I think it was inevitable, and I get. Maybe because, like I said, Nintendo's been kind of isolated from these trends lately, that they weren't used to it. Like if EA had an expansion pass, we're like, okay, that makes sense. If they didn't have it, it would be weird. But the fact that Nintendo has one for Zelda maybe feels weird, but I guess we're in 2017 now.
Well, yeah, I mean that is a good point that they're not new to this. They did the DLC for Animal Crossing New Leaf and the Mario Kart one that Leroy Jenkins brought up. And I mean, even re-releasing Mario Kart 8 with updated content on the Switch is something they're doing. So it's maybe people are mad because they love Zelda so much. I don't know if it's a nostalgia thing for Nintendo. That's why people get so mad. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just not that angry.
No, yeah.
That stuff.
I mean, if they want to do those gimmicky Switch t-shirts or stone tablets or whatever it is, then go for it. I won't touch those, but I'd rather just get the metal armor. Speaking of which, I showed Rob this GIF this morning. I don't know if you were around.
No, I
wasn't. We're just talking about how incredibly like simulation driven this game is in terms of like the wildlife animations they're showing there's a lot of streams in Japan recently, and Nick Doof on Twitter was going through and making GIFs out of a lot of the gameplay. And apparently, as you know, it's way more RPG driven in this game. You can have like different kinds of armor, food.
When he cooks, he hums, and it's really cute.
He also, if you're wearing a metal, like a suit of armor in a storm, apparently, I wish I had the GIF ready. I didn't pull it up for John Luke now.
I did see that GIF where you get destroyed.
He gets struck by lightning, and when I say struck by lightning, I mean he gets obliterated. Because he's this huge suit of armor, and all of a sudden you see these sparks for about 5 seconds, in which time period you're supposed to be like, fuck, let me put on the tunic or even get naked so I don't get destroyed by lightning. And then the ground around him just gets scorched. He explodes, falls over. It's game over.
Is like a mini nuke.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Insane. Yeah, the warnings it gives, it's so great.
It was great. And then also Josh Richards on Twitter kind of asked the same question. How do you feel the shady business of pre-release pay DLC will affect Nintendo games going forward? I think we're going to see a lot more of it on the Switch generation, especially if Zelda is the precursor to all of it. Or I guess Mario Kart 8, but now it's Zelda on the Switch, so we'll see more of it for sure. And it looks like he has a big Goron sword there, or just a big sword. I can't wait for this game.
I really can't either.
On March 3rd.
I'm so pumped.
Yeah. Awesome. So, yeah, those are our thoughts on Nintendo's expansion pass DLC. For people watching, thank you for joining the chat and on Twitter. We have a good rest of the show coming up, but keep sending me your thoughts. Send it to Callie Plaggy, Mike Mahardy, Rob Handler on Twitter, and we'll hopefully get back to you.